There once was a boy who was not the brightest of any. When growing up, he was socially inadequate. He was the runt of the family. He read books by Carl Sparks. This boy is Ed Siliband. He was always the boy that was picked last at school sports, all because he was useless at everything. He was called Ed the Lunatic, Ed the Unhinged, because of the name calling he learnt to play on the ukulele to torment people. He misjudged this like everything else. Ed was viewed as being a simpleton. Those labels stayed with him all through his life. Ed's peers also would pick on him. They'd say that because of his wide, odd-looking eyes with his long face that he looked like a bug. Bug-eyed Ed eating was more like grazing like a cow. They'd also call him the bug-eyed moo cow. His hair was unkempt like a mad professor because he had a large forehead with a big nose. Ed only ever learnt one song. That song was Blowing in the Wind. He learnt that song because he thought to himself, I would make everyone pay. Pay in the future. If only there was a way. One day, he met Queer Starlin. They had a dream of ruining the United Counties to make everyone pay for their lack of communistic sympathy. They were inefficient at almost, if not everything, except for being communists. And when they joined the People's Red Flag Communist Party, they hatched their evil plan to make everyone suffer. They decided to form the beginning of their unconvincing election win that they must seek to implement the secret plan. The secret plan is that eugenics is the greater reset. They started this from the budget. The elderly, infirm, and the disabled were to be systematically stripped of their fiscal disability state help. When the elderly were restricted to one candle for heating, where families lived in the houses in the 30-minute cities where every aspect of their lives were rigidly controlled. People had to be monitored by the Global Ministry for Health and Well-Being, which really was the opposite of what it was. People disappeared overnight to the re-education facilities under the psychological program that secretively hypnotized people to vote for the re-election of Queer Starlin. All of this was a program to reflect the hated commies. Meanwhile, Ed Siliband was developing his program with the one-candle heating. He was the architect to subjugate people using the dismantling of the not-so-perfect but efficient power and gas grids. The aim is to dismantle the power and gas grids so that solar and wind policies would be a controlling aspect of everyone's lives. No wood burners, no solar power, and everything was rationed and put into state control. Everyone was told by Ed Siliband that utility bills would be 30% cheaper. But that was a lie. They said that because they thought people were thick, stupid, gullible, and they hated the people of the United Counties. Ed dreams are to crush people into subjugation by creating a power and gas grid that fails regularly. Whilst people suffer during the winter, they know that they will die. This draconian policy that they implemented would save the tyrannical dictatorship money. Ed Siliband was in his element. They were all eating and drinking fine wines like kings. But the people refused to be subjugated. It started individuals and then with small groups of people. People started unsanctioned marches, mostly peaceful. Agitators created underground resistant groups. The psyop of the people had begun, and the success led to the defeat of the communists. The former government was round up. They were put on trial for crimes against the people. Queer Starlin, Ed Siliband, Czar of Judicial Office, Yeti Cooper, Rachel Thieves with hair sponsored by Richard III, and Lego along with the deputy communist leader Angela Hemorrhoids, also known as the Rapunzel of politics, were imprisoned for life for crimes against the people of the United Counties and treason. They, the people, knew that the recovery of the United Counties would take over a decade to recover, and that people would take a lifetime to heal. A new dawn had arisen where the dismantling of the dictatorship started to happen.